Verbally Effective, your double E, Ina Esco here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Verbally Effective podcast. I got a legend on the line with me today, ladies and gents. That's right. I am talking about an R&B funk soul artist. He is the lead singer of the Barcades. He's an author, a philanthropist. He has his own radio show. Indeed, a Memphis legend. I am talking about Dr. Larry Dodson. How are you, Larry?
I am so well. I woke up this morning and that's a great starting.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah,
Because a
man.
lot of us didn't do that this morning.
A
So
lot
we
of
got
folks
something to be
didn't.
happy about today.
It's the first day
Yes.
of the rest of my life.
Okay, thank you for joining me today. Now,
Alhamdulillah.
like I said, you are indeed a legend. I'm so glad that you agreed to do this podcast. I mean, we have so much to cover because your life is filled with so many experiences. I am so excited to hear about all of them. However, let me first start off because I know you've been in the house for a minute. How are you coping over there at the house with, this pandemic in place? Let's start right there real quick.
Well, just let me say that I'm having cabin fever. It's probably
Me too.
everybody is. Um, but I'm getting through it. And I tell my son all the time. I at first I was distressed, but I
Mm,
started to look at the glass as not being really half empty but half full.
yeah.
And then you and I were kind of talking about it before we started that. God's in a reset with us all, and we have to just look at it like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of wonderful things happen in the midst of all the tragedies. I've seen families come together.
Mhm.
I've seen people become much closer to each other, friends. I've seen a lot of people get on their knees who've not been on their knees in a long
Okay.
time.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of wonderful things that have happened in spite of. So I'm coping. I missed the stage.
I know you
I
do.
recorded a whole lot. I've done almost finished with my album. I got a great single on the rising on the charts. I think I'm number 33 now. So
Okay.
got a new radio show. I'm in the liquor business now. So a lot of things are coming on.
In the liquor
Yeah,
business. So we gonna
yeah,
talk
man.
about this liquor business.
Okay.
Look, the pandemic has opened doors for so many new opportunities, right?
Yes, it has. It has. It has given us a chance to rethink and just kind of be still, just so that we can be a vessel for some of the things that are that God has for us. And still we're giving back. We're making sure that our foundations are getting kids and helping kids afford to go to college. We had 5 recipients this year. We support them on college here,
Yeah.
but we support HBCUs in general.
Amen.
So all that spirit is going on with us, man, here. And our new record label, Music Moves, we're about to sign. I don't even think I should say this, but I will.
Yes. Give me the exclusive.
We're about to, I'm giving an exclusive. We're about to sign our first artist other than myself. My,
Okay.
my record was the first. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it's a fascinating artist.
Oh wow. Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing about this new artist on your new label, Music Moves, very soon.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so proud of you. Like I said, you are indeed a legend. We're going to start at this legend's
Hmm.
beginning. What part of Memphis are you from, Larry Dodson?
I am from South Memphis. Went to Carver High School. Graduated in 1969. So I just tilt the scales on my age. So that's all right, though.
It's all right. That's
It's
all
all
right.
right.
Look, we
Yes,
all
sir.
got a graduation date. Now, take me back to
Uh-huh.
the year. You said 1969 you
Yes,
graduated.
I graduated. Yes.
How was the climate during that time with you as a young man growing up going to Carver High School? Because I know it is so much different. It was so much different back then from how it is today. Tell me, walk me through that.
Well, um, things were, things that made us smile back then were simple things. It wasn't complicated. I had formed a group called the Temprees, and we used to sing under the staircases and in the bathrooms, and we eventually got out of there, started singing on stage, and we got to be very popular. We got to be all right, man.
Okay.
So that helped us, and I kind of got a hall pass in school because we got permission to sing in the clubs from our parents, but we had to stay in the dressing room. We couldn't come out and commingle. So our parents were very cool and very liberal because they knew that singing was in our hearts. So we had a lot of things that advantages that kids per se didn't have. You know, my teachers helped me get through, you know, the shortcomings of my academic stuff, and
Mhm.
I was I was very popular, so
Oh,
they,
you
they
was
helped me
Mr.
out a lot.
Popular.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
So you formed a group called the Temprees. I mean,
yeah.
when did you know that you could sing, Larry? Like, you know,
I
some
still
people,
don't know.
you always knew it.
I still don't know. I still
But
don't
somebody
know.
must have pointed it out to you, like, you got some talent right here. You
uh,
need to kind of hone in into that. How did you know? Like, how did this group come together?
I started the Temporaries in high school. These were guys that had some of the best voices, Delwan Calvin, Jasper Jabbo Phillips, I mean, and then we eventually got Scotty, Harold Scott, Scotty Scott, and we were hot stuff. These guys could sing. So we were emulating the the Temptations, and I was a David Ruffin, and Delwan was the Eddie Kendricks, and Jabbo was somewhere in between. But we were cool, man, you know. So we were, like I said, we were very popular. That's where I was until I joined the Barcades in 1970.
Wow. Now, did that
Mhm.
happen? So 1969, you graduated. 1970, you joined in the Barcades. How did that all come about, Larry?
We were singing at a club called Club Week, and so James Alexander, who then was the leader of the group, uh, he came one Sunday night on our break. But kind of rewinding it back a little bit, Alan Jones, who was then their mentor, producer, I had seen him like at different places, and he always said to me, and I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, "I'm gonna get you." And I kept, "What are you talking about, man?" You know, he said, "I don't have my eyes on you." Little did I know, he was kind of like speculating, and I would see him at our shows. He would be sitting back in the audience, you know, so he had his eyes on me to be that guy. So James finally came and asked me, and I said yes, you know, and then I was thrown right into the studio to do what eventually came out to be the Black Rock album, an iconic piece.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Wow. That's how it
that
all
started the ball rolling. That was 30 albums ago.
wow,
That was
30 albums ago. Now
30 albums ago.
tell me about your experience performing live back in the day because I know it's totally different from these days. You guys were like at the Apollo. I mean, you've traveled all over the world since then. Um, you know, how was the feeling? How was the tone? How were the people? How was it so different from what it is today as a performer?
You really want to know the truth? It was fun. It was fun. And I have to say that through all the business and the rigmarole and all of the stuff that has taken the fun out of the business in a lot of different ways, uh, it's just, man, back then we loved to sing and hear the girls screaming, holler. Not that they don't do that now, you know, but it was just so authentic and it was just different. And then when we got to be recording artists for real professionally, they cared about us, you know, they cared about our future. And today I would say that your flavor of the day, man, you know, you're only as good as your last record. If you're ready, and then and to all these kids listening, take it from Uncle Larry, who has done 30 albums, 20 top 10 records, gold and platinum. You will be the flavor of the day if you do not watch it. If you don't write those songs that will, with the intention of having generational wealth, now nobody knows what a hit is, you know,
Yeah,
but it's with the opportunity to get free music, it is, we have a lot of strikes against us.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. And you know what? We often hear about many artists in the music business specifically getting some of those raw deals. Like you hear it over and over. I watch on VH1's Unsung all the time. It's always a matter of the deal wasn't what the artist expected it to be. Did you all go through some of that with some of your deals with labels throughout your career?
Yeah, can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Yes, you know how we often hear about artists having bad deals, like, but
Yeah.
you hear it from artists back in the day, but you hear it from artists presently in 2021 as well. Did you all go through some of that in the Barcades, going through bad deals with labels, or were you
Yeah.
in a pretty good shape with management?
No, the first year was horrible.
Ah,
It was in the sense of, I don't think it. Well, yes, it was. It was predatory in a sense because we just didn't know.
yeah,
We wanted to be on stage. We wanted to record. So all the fine print, we left that up to other people. Worst mistake we could make.
yeah,
But our manager cared for us. It wasn't the worst. I don't blame him, but it wasn't much difference between the deal we got and the Staples Singers deal. It was just all of it was goofy. It
yeah.
just wasn't liberal. When we got through that and our next deal, when Stacks closed,
Hmm.
by that time we had a really sharp attorney and we got a multi-million-dollar deal.
Okay, okay.
And when we in 1977, when Stacks closed, we left. We played at a club and started. Because our manager told us, he said, when Stacks closed, he said, you guys got two options. You can break up, or you can go find you a place to play every night, and in the daytime you write you some songs. That's what we did. We wrote "Shake Your Rump," we wrote "Two Out to Stop," we wrote just a plethora of songs, and we got a real big deal. From then on, it was like we was on and popping. It was
Yeah,
gold, platinum, hit after hit, a string of just hits that we thought would never stop. Of course, they did,
yeah.
at different points, but not for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite Barcades record? If you could name one.
Like I didn't know you was gonna ask me that.
Look, you thinking about it though. You thinking about it.
Man, you know what? One of my favorite songs,
What is it?
Grown Folks.
Grown folks.
That's
Yes.
one of my favorite songs.
Yes.
Uh, Holy Ghost, Anticipation. All those kind of run right up there together.
Anticipation, my favorite.
Yeah, most people pick that record. It was magic on that one.
Definitely,
It
definitely.
was magic.
Wow. So let's fast forward a bit, Larry, to today. You got a lot going on,
Mhm.
Mr. Dodson. I mean, from being a philanthropist, you've written a book. Let's talk about this book. How did
Mhm.
this book all come about? And the band plays on the life story of Larry Dodson. Did you feel like it's time to document my life? How did
No,
that come about? No.
nope. Had no idea at all about writing. I didn't know anything about writing. I never written anything. My son and I, Larry Jr., who handles my day-to-day stuff, we would sit in the mornings and we would plan out the week, the day, the month. And I would tell him stories, man, just some of the stories on the bus. We had goofy things that happened, good things, bad things that we did, just how we used to be bad. We were called the bad kids, and all the wonderful things that happened. But he said, "Papa, you need to write a book." And I'm like, I don't know anything about writing a book. But he convinced me. He said, "You know what?" I said, I'm gonna start keeping some notes. I said, "You find me an editor because I don't think I have the knowledge to just write." So he did. He found me a lady by the name of Sheila Bell, who had books of her own, and she was an editor, and she had experience in self-publishing. So I started keeping my notes. It took me about 2 years, and so I started sending her the notes, and she said, "Larry, you know what? I don't need to do nothing but name your chapters." She said, "You
Wow.
writing this book?" She said, "The only thing I would tell you is stop being so glossy. You know, make yourself say ouch. You know, get down in that gut and tell that bad stuff. That
Yeah.
stuff, because if you got through it, it's testimony, and it's gonna be ministry to kids who listening and people who have those similar problems and and trying to hide them and don't think they can get through them. You're living proof that you did all the worst things in the world. Well, not all of them, you know what I'm saying, but you got in trouble. You with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Even though you've been married for a long time, I've been married 50 years. She said,
Wow.
And I did, and it was therapeutic for me. I said stuff in this book that I never shared with anybody.
Mhm.
My Down syndrome kid, which wasn't a secret, but I explained how all that happened when my wife and I had been married for a year, and our firstborn was born with Down syndrome. We know what to do. We
Mhm.
know anything about Down syndrome,
Yeah.
but years to fast forward, and it showed us that first being married to a wonderful wife who stood by us, by me, and we got through it. But God was showing us, just get out of the spotlight a little bit. Let's put the spotlight on your daughter, somebody else.
Mhm.
And it has kept me humble. It has been, it got me involved in mentally challenged, physically challenged kids, which I love. And
Yes.
I never would have done that, you know.
Mhm.
And the doctor said, look, don't get too attached to your daughter. She's not gonna make it past teens. She was 49 years old
Wow.
on September.
That's amazing.
That's just one of the minutes that she overcame all the medical obstacles that come along with Down syndrome kids. That's why the doctor said, for all he knew at that time, he said they have too many things that's wrong, you know.
Mhm.
And just be prepared that she's not gonna make it past the teens. Doctor said no. God said yeah, you
Okay.
know.
Okay. All the time. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and I share all this stuff in my books. It's an interesting read. It's a really good read, and it just I would just say God is amazing. God is just really amazing.
yes. Now, you said something that really resonated with me.
Hmm.
You mentioned that, maybe it was time to step away from the spotlight. And I know as an entertainer, that probably is one of the hardest things to do when you're used to that spotlight. Does it feel like, something had a pivotal moment had to happen in your life for that to happen, for you to kind of sit down a bit and assess the situation? Because so many entertainers I see, they ain't trying to give up that spotlight now. Now that's something hard to do.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you raise. You know, I would say this: had I not had that not been the circumstances, there probably my life would have probably taken a different course. But not only did I have to get out of I had to get out of the spotlight, so did my wife.
Mm,
You know, so we both had to kind of sit up this side. She became the core and center of everything that we did, making sure that my daughter, her name is Precious, had everything that she needed
mhm,
to get everything that was possible for her to do. And fortunately, we were okay, you know, kind of financially. We got her started at 3. She graduated from high school at a special class that only was open for a few years. So, you know, little by little and step by step, God put us in the right places with the right people. And then we started working with the Down Syndrome Association. We both been on the board. Even my son, my wife served on the state board, you know. And
mhm.
so we just got into it. And I so much enjoyed it.
Yes,
It's a part of me that will always be partial to mentally challenged and mentally um, kids with disabilities. I mean, it's just it's in our DNA now. It's every day for us.
yes. Now, how many kids do you have, Larry?
Two, my daughter Precious, she's 49, and my son Larry Jr., who we share our record label with and our booking agency, as well as my wife. As I said, I've been married for 50 years. I joined the Barcades in March of 70, and I got married in the same year with nothing. I say that all, and I say that to say that we physically really didn't have anything, no money, no place to live. We bombed bedrooms for my parents and
Y'all done been through the fire.
all through the fire and the storm. But you know what? We had each other, man.
Yes,
And that's part of the reason why I fell in love with the lyric of my song. As long as I got you, I'm good. You know,
yes,
and my
yes.
song, yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. You've been through so much, Larry Dodson. Now, you said that you and your wife have and your son have this booking agency. Tell me
Mhm.
about that agency and tell me, how has it been affected since COVID?
It shut us down. It shut us down. We've had to we started the agency in 1999. My wife is the president. I'm vice president. My son is the chief editor. When he got out of college, he got into the he was marketing director for Coors.
Wow.
And I started bringing him into the office. I said, see if you like this business. Because I was already, I said, just come in and intern with me in the summer and see if you like the booking agency business. And he did. And so he's been sort of like the main guy, other than myself.
Mhm.
And that was in 1999. So now we own tours, whether I work or not. We have tours that go out, and we just get money.
Yes, and I know since the pandemic hit, a lot of that has changed. Kind of take me back to March of, not this past year, but the year before that, when the pandemic hit. How did your entire business change? Like, I'm sure it went from tours to cancellations. Like, it probably was like an uproar of disappointments, right?
It shut down. It shut me down. It shut concerts down. So therefore, there was nobody to book because nobody was working. Um, I had never experienced anything like that. I
I'm
mean,
sure.
never. And at that time, I was celebrity spokesman for a liquor called Guidance Whiskey. It was black owned.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that going, and I had written my book. We started working on our second book, which is called Keep Looking Up When It's Down. And it's the story of us raising our kid, raising our child, being having Down syndrome. And it's gonna be so therapeutic for people who read the book, especially for those who don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because
When is that coming out?
she's a success story. She's worked for 28 years.
That's amazing.
Amazing. Like I said, she's a real success story. So we didn't have many other things going on. So we started to again. I go back to the fact where I tell you that we start thinking, well, look, this glass ain't half empty; it's half full. Let's just roll our sleeves up and see what we can do. So I did retire. I'm trying to just see where I am now. So we
You
started.
retired from the Barcades,
I had
correct?
started retiring from the Barcades, right?
I remember that announcement. I was like, what?
Yep, I had retired, and I'd only been out on the road 1 year. My first concert was on the Tom Jones cruise with Charlie Wilson, Janet Jackson, Maxwell, and that was my first concert as Larry D. So I
Okay.
did. I had a year to travel, and then we shut down. So we're here with the economy just being like it was, and nothing. I couldn't travel anymore.
Mm,
I started to record the album.
hmm.
I started with the single. We got very, very blessed. It started going up the chart. And then I'm almost about to finish the album. And incidentally, my producer is the same guy who produced very big records on Charlie Wilson.
Good. Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
we 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 started to just spread our wings a little bit and get into other things, and it's really been okay. It's really been okay. It's
Yes,
brought us, not that we were apart, but it's brought us even closer together as a family.
I
Because all of
agree.
our business, if you notice, they're family business. Lamaries is Lamaris. That's Larry, and my wife is Marie. So
Okay.
we're family business, man. Yeah,
Wow.
all in the business.
Now, tell me this, Larry. What would you say to some of these artists that have been, I guess, discouraged since the pandemic, and they feel like maybe they aren't as creative as they used to be. They can't perform like they used to be. What advice do you have for them to keep going at this point?
Get on your knees.
Mm,
Be still, get on your knees, and seek ye first the kingdom of God. I promise you, it shall be revealed to you what your next move is. And I don't want to seem over spiritual or preachy, and I ain't trying to do that, but I'm just saying that's what you do. When you can't do nothing else, what do? You give it to God. And it gets difficult. It is difficult. And for those aspiring artists out there who get even more challenged now. It's already tough Now the pandemic has come, and sometimes you need everybody wants an excuse to do nothing. You know, they want to blame it on everything.
Yeah.
Just roll your sleeves up, man. Just roll your sleeves up and be Big Papa. You know,
Okay.
make people proud of you. You know, don't get to whine and stuff, because you'd be surprised. People are looking at you. You'd be surprised who is looking at you to see what you gonna do. You
Yeah.
know, what is Ana gonna do? You
Right.
know, at home. Is she gonna get the whine and just shut down? Or is she gonna have more podcasts than ever? You feel what I'm
Okay.
saying? You feel what
Okay.
I'm saying? Yeah,
I feel you.
that's what I say.
Yeah.
Get going tough, go what is the saying? Tough, going get tough, tough get going.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
that's that's what we do. I don't, you know, I got some help, man. I got some help, and
Yeah.
that's my help. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. And I talk to so many artists all the time,
Mhm.
especially recently. A lot of them, they do not want to do the virtual thing. They say the virtual thing. They like, I'm sick of that. Like, no, I want to touch the people. I need to get in front of them and feel their energy. And I get it. I get it. But I'm like, you can't stop though. So what you gonna do? Because you
First, you go get
cannot
that
stop.
shot, man. You know, I mean, and I know that's a ticky subject. People are apprehensive, and if you had to talk to me a month ago, I was just as apprehensive. But you know what? I just didn't like the idea of there are a few people in my orbit that I know have been real safe that got it, and they don't know where they got it from. So I just want to feel protected, even though I haven't been. I've flown only twice. And the only reason I flew was just to record. I haven't been anywhere. We don't travel anymore. People don't come here. It's we've been in our bubble and we've been very protected. But um, get vaccinated. I'm telling you, just get the shot and feel protected.
So you've already taken it,
We've
Larry.
had both. We've had both our shots. Everybody, all of us.
So you done the Moderna or the Pfizer?
We did the Pfizer,
The
but
Pfizer.
I would have taken the Moderna. You know,
Okay.
I just think that the apprehension. I do understand it, but I just think that it's better to be protected.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
like, what other options do we have at this point, right?
I agree. And then people say, "Well, God gonna protect me." Well, God also gave you sense to stay protected for yourself. You know, do some things on your own. You know,
Yes.
and so but I do understand to each his own. You know, I get the apprehension that we have, and this they got something they're gonna give black people, and they're trying to shoot us up and put things in our arms to track us and all sorts of great stuff.
All kind of conspiracy theories
Oh
going
man,
on.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
and
yep,
and
yep.
I feel you on the apprehension at first because I haven't had the shot, and I will admit I have been apprehensive just because of the maybe the time that it's been going on. Like I just feel like it hasn't been out on a trial for a long time.
I
You
missed that. I'm sorry, sweetie.
I said I've been kind of apprehensive about the shot
Uh-huh.
based on the short amount of time it's been out on the market.
I
Like,
feel that. I received that. Yeah, I do. I do. And you know what? That's a very good point. That's a very good point. And I took all that under consideration. So did my wife, my family. And she really was more apprehensive about it than I was, you know. Now I take that back. We were both, like I said, if you had talked to me a month ago, I would have said, man, I ain't thinking about that. I ain't getting nothing finished getting stuck up in my
right.
mind. I just don't trust it. You know, like I do all things, I prayed about it. I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And my son and my daughter, who actually they got it too.
Okay.
We lucked up and got it.
And how have you been feeling since the shot?
Psychologically, I feel better. I don't feel any different from
Psychologically.
psychologically. I feel different.
What
I
about
feel like
physically?
no, I don't. It didn't do anything. I didn't have no effects behind it. And my son got a little weird. For about 8 or 9 hours, he got a little sick. He got felt like he was gonna catch the flu or
Mm,
something. Then it subsided
good. Wow.
on both of his shots. He
Okay.
felt a little weird, but I think that's just his body makeup. Was
Yeah.
different.
Okay. So now you feel more protected. You
I
know,
do.
you can
Still
get
wear the mask. I'll never take the mask off. And we still everybody coming in. We give them. We got them our thermometer at the door, and we got to do all that, and can't come in without no mask. But
okay.
people work in the house, with my housekeeper, everybody. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So you got a lot going on. You got that second book coming out. You have a record label
Mhm.
with your son Music Moves. You told me you got a the first artist besides yourself coming out very soon. You're not telling me who it is yet, but it's coming. How soon will we know?
You know when you know. Sooner than later. Sooner than later.
Okay, well, you gonna give me the
We almost there.
exclusive, right?
We almost there. We'll have a big announcement.
Okay.
And I will tell you, they are from Memphis.
Okay, good. It's good that you're
Yeah.
honing in on that Memphis talent, because there's so many
Yeah.
talented people from here.
That's exactly right. This is the second label we've had. James and I, we shared a label. We started in 2003, and we had 8 artists on it. We had the Angelic Voices of Faith, which is led by my youngest brother, Michael Dodson. We had Jay Blackfoot, the Barcades were signed. We had Lacey. We had Archie Love from Memphis, the Soul Children. We were trying to pick up the artists who were left over from Stax.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We were trying to be that label that gave the Memphis sound the resurgence. And it was kind of, it was alarming to us that we really couldn't get a lot of help from the city.
Why is that?
Yeah, we spent a lot of our money to do that for a long time.
That's interesting. Why do you think that it was hard to get help from the city?
Could it be we were the wrong color? I'm just
Probably.
saying.
Look.
I'm just saying.
I think that's probably it. And that's probably why people are just now discovering about Memphis and its amazing artists, its amazing talent. Like, we're really getting a lot of recognition now, and we should be getting this recognition a long time ago. So, I bet you probably felt some kind of way about that back in the day, right?
You know what? That's always been the elephant in our living room. Excuse me.
Okay.
And I'm on the Zoom. I'm gonna call you right back. Yes. Okay. Two sides of it. To give back, I'm rewarded unexpectedly for that. I was given an honorary. So yeah, you were asking if it bothered us to not get the recognition that we really wanted. Yeah, it did. Especially when we were starting the label, we said, man, now we know Memphis gonna be all behind us, and the city's gonna be behind us, especially since music is one of the things they declare that is going to be a front runner for them to support. Here we are over here. We got 8 acts signed, and we got all these old Stax artists, and we got a building, and we've had 5 or 6 studios here. All we need is some cash, to go with our own cash that we were spending. No. So, and then as far as radio, we never felt we got the radio airplay that we thought we deserved. And we did everything that we could do to, we're homeboys. We could have moved and went anywhere we wanted to move to and lived like we wanted to live, but we always stayed here representing Memphis because we love Memphis.
Right.
Our whole thing was to make Memphis proud. We never felt like, then it stopped bothering us. You know what? After we had gold and platinum, I wish you could see my wall. It's full of gold.
Look, I see your hardware back there.
Yeah, I mean, when that started happening and we started staying on the road, and it's, well, they'll get over it, or we'll get over it. Somebody will get over it, Right. And then we start to ask other artists, do you have a hard time being recognized in your hometown?
They like, yep. Other artists probably was like, nah, but Memphis, yeah.
Well, you know what? Odd enough, they were Charlie Wilson is one of my dearest friends. Rick James was one of my dearest friends. Diamond from Ohio Players, Sugarfoot. All these guys were George Clinton. He's my daughter's godfather. So they all have that problem. It's probably the right word, but it's just a circumstance of they see him a lot. They see him at Kroger.
They used to.
They get used to, and they just don't get it. Yeah. Now I'm like Michael Jackson. If I go just 200 miles this way or that way, you
Wow.
know, and it got to be a point we said, well, you know, and it's just the way it is. And at a point it leaves for a quieter life in town when you're not such a big guy, or that, you know, I still have to sign autographs everywhere I go, you
Yes.
know, but it's not intrusive. You know, I got a street named after me, which is right 2, 3 or 4, 5 streets up from me. And you know, it's just something I said, you know what? I remember when I used to drive around and I would just say, you know what? I would see a street that was renamed after a person. I said, man, you know what? Most of them were dead, you know.
Mhm.
And I said, they must have thought a whole lot of this guy to rename the street after him. And here I am alive,
Yes.
you know, 5 minutes from me is a street that my kids may always be able to drive down and say, that's grandpa, that's papa,
Yeah. Look, you're
you
getting your
know.
flowers while you're here.
It means a whole lot. And I never
Wow.
asked for that. I never asked for it. I never asked. We never asked for the star on Bill Street. We never asked to be inducted into the R&B Hall of Fame. We never asked for our articles of clothing to be in the Smithsonian Institute.
Wow.
So, you know, we got a lot of flowers while we're here. So I stopped caring about what Memphis thought about
Yeah.
us. I
Keep it
do know.
moving, huh? We're gonna
Yeah,
keep
we
it
keep it moving.
moving.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of keeping it moving, you have your own radio show. Tell me about your radio show and how can people listen to you on your show?
I'm on WAV and the Trend 104 FM, 1240 AM. I'm on Saturday mornings from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. It's the Larry Dodson Show, the Larry D. Dodson Show. I play classic R&B, funk, and new music. How that came about, my son asked me to do it. You know, he said, the station, there's a new station coming up, Pop, and they want a celebrity air personality. What do you think? And I'd never been in the radio, you know,
Mhm.
but I'm not afraid of any challenge like this. And you know what? Being on stage gives you it gives you certain training. You're a radio personality,
That
so
confidence.
you yeah, confidence. I'm not afraid of it.
Mhm.
I know how I'm very cool talking about stuff, and I've watched radio enough. I've done enough radio over my years to watch people, the good ones and the bad ones, you know.
Yes.
Subconsciously, I picked up much more than I thought.
Yes.
And, you know, at the station, they're like, have you ever done, this the first time you've done this? I said,
I
yeah,
bet
I've
it's
never
pretty
had any training
good.
at all, you know.
Yeah.
And they said, I can't believe it because you act like and sound like you've been on radio for 100 years. And
I can
and
believe it.
that's interesting to me.
I can definitely believe it. Wow.
Oh,
Well,
okay. All right,
check your show out on WAVN and let everybody on the podcast know how they can follow you on social media and keep up with everything that Dr. Larry Dodson got going on.
All right. So let me just say this for my radio show, www.wavnthetrend.com. That's how you can catch me.
Okay.
For everything else about all the things that I've got going on, my book, everything. Um, www.thelarrydodson.com. That's my website for my book, t-shirts, yeah, everything. And follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook on The Real Larry Dodson. I used to couldn't do that. Now I can do that.
You know
Thanks,
them social
thanks to
media
my
handles
son.
now. Huh? Look, that's the day and age we are in. Social
Come on now, come on now.
The Real Larry Dodson on all social media handles. Well, Larry, I have truly enjoyed you today on the Verbally Effective Podcast. We've learned so much about your journey, and I love that you are able to get your flowers while you're here. I am looking forward to having you on my Musically Effective radio show with WYXR very soon. So I will definitely be in touch, and thank you so much for joining me today. You are amazing.
God bless you, and I love you guys, and just whatever, whenever, just call me back. Uncle Larry's right there. All right. Have
I
a great
definitely
weekend.
will.
All
Thank you
right.
so